Fight with white people. That's literally your argument.
Okay, you could tell people that. I'm Chicano. I'm here for my people. People of the sun. Children of the earth. Mexica. That's what I am. So if you want to say that I'm with white people, you can say that shit. You say whatever you want.
Okay, when
the people around me know who I am. And they know that I'm for real. Like you're... Like, who the fuck are you, dog?
Why do you take your shirt off?
Trying to tell people who they are.
Why do you take your shirt off?
You're trying to tell people who you are. But you
know
damn well, fool, that you would be a little hyena. You're a fucking hyena. You haven't said one unifying thing. You haven't said not one thing about our people that's good.
Why do you take your shirt off?
You just want to fight all day.
Why do you take your shirt off?
You're behind a screen, and you're a chavala. Act right, fool. Come on. You got to look at all these people, all these Chicanos, all these people. You could bring unity, but you choose to be who you are right now.
I don't want to bring unity. I don't want to bring unity with people that yearn allegiance with white people.
You win, carnal. Fuck you and your white people. Fuck white people. Fuck white supremacy. Fuck Donald Trump. Yo soy Mexicano. Fuck you, bitch asshole.
Why he take his shirt off? That's what they're doing. And if we allow this, it explains why everybody is comfortable with stealing our identity. We cannot allow this to happen. We can't allow white tea presenting people to steal especially Chicano, the tribalized people created a new identity to identify us with a connection to indigeneity for what? For now white people to claim it too, and we're gonna justify it by saying, where's your heart? Fuck the heart. Fuck the heart. That's not what this is about. See, we are such a people that want other people to love us so much that we allow them to steal from us what we create. That has to stop. It has to. Fuck the heart. We can't allow people to steal what we are anymore. We can't do that. We can't. And I won't let it.
Personally, me, myself, okay, I don't take away from Chicano being indigenous. I don't understand how the white people even got involved with Chicano culture. Okay.
But see, okay, I'm going to pause you right here. And listen, for what it's worth to you, I appreciate this conversation. Don't think I'm mad at you. Don't think I'm attacking you. I appreciate this conversation. That's why you're still here. Okay? First of all. So, you see, you said, I'm not going to remove the indigenous connection from the Chicano identity. But yet, we're going to allow white people to claim it. You see, it doesn't make sense. So you don't want to remove indigeneity from the Chicano identity, but you do want to allow white people to claim it. It doesn't make sense.
Well, here's the thing though, Ricardo. Like, I'm not the goddamn Chicano police. You get what I'm saying?
I am.
So I don't sit here and, try to tell people who they can and can't be. Like as long as it's not affecting me personally,
it's affecting me. It's affecting me.
I promise I don't care. But
I do. Oh, you don't care?
No, I don't care if it not.
This conversation is over, Moni. This conversation is over. It's over. Thank you, though. If you don't care, don't come up here. If you don't care, don't come up. Listen, I care. I care a lot. I care with everything I've got. I care with the flaming passion. I care. If you don't care, I don't want to have a conversation. Okay? Do we have this understanding? Thank you. No, you have to care to be on my space and conversing about these important topics. You have to care. You have to care. You have to care. If you don't care, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Yes, I am the indigenous gatekeeper. Yes, I am. Hello? Are you new? Ricardo Ignacio is known as the gatekeeper. I'm here to gatekeep. I am Mr. Gatekeeper. You can't get past me. I care. I care. If you are white tea presenting, you cannot claim Chicano. You could not claim being indigenous. You can't. You can't. You can't. You can't. You cannot. You cannot. I don't care if your great grandma was 5% Cherokee. If you are not indigenous presenting, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Period. Period. And if there are Chicanos here who want to say, I'm never going to allow Chicano and indigenous to lose that connection, good. So then stop allowing white tea people to claim Chicano. Otherwise, the math ain't math. And Wayward Son, do you want to come up? Come on, sir. Let's get that. Come on. Speaking about Chicano, let's get this dude up here real quick and talk about Chicano. How about that? How about that? Sir, where you at? I'm tired of the bullshit, man. Let's get this dude up here. Shit. For the Chicanos watching, pay attention. Pay attention. Sir, let me ask you 2 questions, and afterwards, I'm going to let you take the whole goddamn floor. You ready?
Absolutely.
Question number 1. Was Chicano created by indigenous detribalized people?
Absolutely.
Number 2. If we're going to continue to identifying Chicano with indigeneity roots, should we allow white tea presenting people to claim it?
Absolutely not.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
See, that's the mistake. That's the mistake that a lot of people make, and I see it too, because they don't understand. And you said the phrase earlier because I caught you earlier. Ni de aquí ni de allá. The Chicano movement was a lot of things. It was a civil rights movement. It was a political movement. It was a search for identity. But in one of those things, it was an anti-assimilation movement, disassociating ourselves from the white people that existed here, that didn't see us as their equals. We were like, well, if we're not, if we're being pushed from that direction from them, and we're being pushed from over here. Who are we? Ni de aquí ni de allá. We are Aslan. That was one of the main slogans of the Chicano movement is we are Aslan. And so what they went back is they looked for their identity, their real identity, because Mexican and Spanish and all of that wasn't our roots. That was the point of our uprooting. So who are we? We went further back than that, to the indigenous roots. For have to include white people into Chicano just shows that they have absolutely no clue about what a Chicano actually is and where it comes from. Because the Chicano movement and Chicano was a disassociation with that white identity. Because from Mexico, we was looked at as too wanna be white or too white, assimilating with that whiteness. And from then we was, too brown to be white. So we were stuck in the middle. So we searched for an identity as part of that Chicano movement. That's why you see, we didn't dress like them. We started dressing cholo. We started they lifted up their cars. We dropped ours. Everything was the opposite. We was doing everything to disassociate ourselves from that whiteness and from that world. So for people to say, oh, well, we can just include everybody in that. No, you can't. That just shows me that you have no clue what Chicano means or where it comes from. Thank you very much. You have absolutely no clue, no understanding. This isn't an assimilation. Let's all just blend in and be one. That's called American. That's called American. You want to be American, well, then you do that blending in. You serve the white man. You follow his lead. You follow his ways. But if you want to be Chicano, that's stepping away from that. That's not homogenizing. That's an anti-assimilation movement. People have no clue as to what that means.
Yeah, so how do you handle when you have these important conversations and then the result is the other person saying, well, I don't care, it's not that deep?
That's just, then they're like superficial. They're in the shallow end of the pool, is the way I see it. And if you want to spend your time in the shallow end of the pool, that's fine. You can Google something and you can just research off of the first page of Google. But when you go into subjects like this, you got to dig deep. You actually have to go into it. You don't sit there and think you're swimming when you're only knee deep. You know what I mean? You have to actually get in there and get a better understanding of where you're coming from. Now, you want to know what Chicano is? Go to them old school fools. Go to them old OGs, them old school Chicanos, the ones that I grew up with, the ones who were here during the Chicano movement, that actually were part of that. And they're going to tell you the exact same thing. It's not an all-inclusive thing, because we were being discriminated on this side and discriminated on that side. So we formed something in between, something that identified us in search for our roots and who we were. We wasn't trying to assimilate. It was an anti-assimilation movement. It's the direct opposite of what they're saying. So, that's just when people come to me that way, because I get a lot of that too, because we've always gotten hate. I used to when I was chavalon, and I've told you this before, on the back of my shirt used to say Chicano y que, because I was catching it from everybody. You know what I mean? I was catching it from the left and the right. So I'm like, yeah, soy Chicano, I'm going to represent. ¿Qué pasó? What you want to do? We can sit here and we can go that route. But you have so many people that have the understanding as it is today. They've seen see, that's the whole mentality. That's where people get lost in history. They're not actually looking at history as it was. They're looking at things the way they are today. And then they're identifying with what it is today, or what it's become today, how it's evolved and came to this point. They're not looking at the roots. They're seeing the leaves. They're seeing the branches of the tree, but they're not seeing the roots of that tree and how it grew and what it took to persevere and to grow into that tree. They just see them flowers and they see them branches and them leaves, and they're like, oh, that's what it is. They don't look any deeper than that. And I sat here watching your conversation, man, and I'm like, man, I don't want to jump in there for a minute, because here's the thing. I've had that same conversation with the same person, that you, and it's not, and I'm not going to sit here and talk bad about somebody, but we're complete opposite views of what Chicano is and where it comes from. So it's not, I've already had that conversation. I'm not going to sit there and bump heads about it, because I know that I stand on firm ground. We're not trying to assimilate. We're not trying to bring all these other people into this. This is ours. We claimed it as our own because we had nothing to claim. Because the things that we tried to do, because my father, my jefito, my grandfather, and everybody, they tried to make us assimilate into this society. And then once they tried to force you into this and you still were discriminated against, they went so far as to reclassify us as white, to blend us into this society. And when they still looked at us, because we were living in Mexican neighborhoods, we wasn't living in the suburbs, we was living in the slums, in the ghettos, in the barrios. So even though they classified it as white, we were still on the outside looking in. We wasn't part of this family. So who are we? What are we going to do about that? We're not going to try to assimilate with them. You know what? Fuck you. We're going to go our own way. And that's what the Chicano movement was, breaking away from that identity, claiming our own identity. You know what? You don't want us to be a part of you? Well, fuck you. We don't want to be a part of you either. Them over there don't claim us. Well, you know what? This is who we are. This is who we are. We gravitated towards each other in a movement of self-assimilation, self-identity within that circle. This is who we are. They started dressing cholo. Most of them started identifying, I've had this conversation with you before, started identifying with the Aztec, solo the Aztec, not Purupecha, not Otomi, but that identity there. But it was a way of pulling away from all of this other, grabbing on to a life raft that, the only life raft they knew. So they assimilated and they grabbed for that. And I understand that, man. It was desperate times, it was desperate situations. And they just wanted something to claim as their own. So I can understand that. But it's not all of this trying to let's blend it in. Let me take a couple of white people from over here, a couple of Asians over here, no, that's not what it was about, man. It was about us coming together and separating ourselves from the identity that they would not let us be a part of, even though they said it was a melting pot. But you know what? What they wanted us to do was for us to melt, to leave everything that made us who we were, leave that behind. That's what the American melting pot is. Forget about you being Mexican. Forget about you being from Africa. Forget about you being from Asia. Leave all your culture, your heritage, your language, everything behind, and become that watered down white person. That's what they wanted you to be. And it's like, no, that's not what we're going to do. So I can listen in a minute, man.
If you want to give me more input about that conversation, because I feel like there's so many, it was very complex. very complex. I don't know how long you were listening to that conversation, but if you have more input, go ahead.
No, well, the thing is, see, in our struggle and how we can, like, people are like, well, what are we supposed to do? Okay, we're gonna have to just get along, you know. But see, the same thing that I hear, the same thing I hear our own people saying, it's an old conversation. You think this is the first time this conversation has ever happened? It happened in New Spain. It happened in New Spain. When the winds of change was coming around, you had these people that benefited from that society that was built on the ruins of ours. You had them saying, hey man, what are y'all doing? Let it go, man. We got it good here. Everything's good. Look, they gave us this, and now we're doing this, that, and the other. Forget about going back to the old ways, man. We're good here. The same thing. You think all the indigenous people, all the mestizos, they was like, yeah, let's rise up again. No, there was some that was speaking out against it because
Yes,
they were stimulated, because they benefited from the system that was in place that was brought by somebody else. The same thing happened in Haiti with the French. The same thing. Not everybody is 100% on the same page. There were some that had bought into that assimilation. There's some that had bought into that identity. Hey, so let's just all, you know what? Hey, I've got Netflix, I've got Paramount Plus, I got an F-150. Let's just, all get in here within this system, and let's just try to rise up within the system. You're still under the yoke of the oppression. You're still under the colonization of those there. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you have a 4-5 bedroom house with a 2.5 bath. It don't matter if you have a 2024, 2025 car. It doesn't matter if you're getting paid $5,000 a week for the job that you do. You're still doing that under the system of oppression. It's not the indigenous people in control of this land.
There you go.
You said it just like I've been saying it. Indigenous people should have control over indigenous issues on indigenous land. Point blank, period. I don't give a damn what you think. I don't care if I got a mansion. I don't care if I've got a brand new car. And I do pretty well for myself. All that don't make me a difference, because I know that it's within the system of these people over here on the top and us down here on the bottom. And that's not how it should be. Indigenous people should have control over indigenous issues on indigenous lands. We shouldn't just try to get in and fit in and do our best within a system of oppression. That's just crazy. And see, I've listened to a lot of Malcolm X, and and I made a video about this, and I can't say the words, but he describes it first. Perfectly. The difference between a house inward and a field inward, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. But you got a lot of these house inwards, and we got them too. They're that lighter shade of brown. We got Mexicanos and Chicanos that have become that house inward. Yes, we're going to serve the master as long as the master puts a steak on my plate. I don't care if he gives them bologna. I don't care if he gives them bullshit down there. As long as I got a steak on my plate, I'm good. Hey, you should be good too. Come on into the house, man. Let's serve the master and we'll be okay. He's gonna do us good. The white man gonna treat us good. That's what happens to these folks, man. They buy into that bullshit, And I'm not down with it. Now, a real Chicano wouldn't be down with it. Not a real Chicano. A real Chicano wouldn't be ready to serve the white man. A real Chicano understands what the Chicano movement was about and how it was an anti-assimilation movement. We weren't trying to blend in. My father tried to blend in, and my grandfather tried to blend in. Well, it didn't work. You know what I mean? That's separate. When you put oil in water and one rises and one sinks, we were trying to pull away from that identity. You know what? Fuck you. You don't want to accept me for who I am. You don't want to accept. You tell me that this is a melting pot. Let's all get together and let's hold hands and sing kumbaya. And then when it comes to that, you don't want to even touch my hand because I'm brown, and you don't want that funk. You don't want that stink from people like me. Because I said that before, and I've gone there, and I've done a lot there. Right here in Dallas, Texas, I can go there right now. There's a park down there where Mexicans weren't even allowed to swim in the same water as white people. Mexicans had a day when they swam in that water. It's called Pikes Park, and anybody can look this up. Look up the history of Pikes Park. In Pikes Park, right down the street from where I'm living right now, Mexicans could only swim in that swimming pool on certain days of the week, on certain times of the day. And they had to get out of that swimming pool. They would completely drain the water from that swimming pool, scrub it clean, and put in clean water for the white people to come in and swim, because they didn't want the white folks to have to swim in the same water as us dirty little Mexicans. And you think we're supposed to assimilate with that? You think we're supposed to gravitate towards that and identify with that? No, you know what? Fuck you all day long.
Yeah. For sure. Anything else?
No, that's it, man. I'm just I just hate when you got people that come in here and say stuff like that, man. But like I said, I was just listening. You called me up, so yeah, I've got an opinion on that. But I just listened for the longest because I don't agree with none of that because I know where it comes from. I know that I'm Chicano, sí soy Chicano, but I'm not one of these who's trying to get in where I fit in. That's the complete opposite.
That's not Chicano. That's not Chicano.
No, that's the complete opposite of the Chicano mentality. We're not trying to get in where we fit in. We're gonna make our motherfucking spot. We're gonna take what we need, and we're gonna, we're gonna live that life, regardless of who anybody likes about it. I can go on every Sunday, and I've done lives. I don't know if you ever seen one of my lives when I'm down the street on Jefferson Boulevard. When you got all those Chicanos over there just gravitating, man, doing their thing, listening to the oldies, motherfucking the ramplas, them lowriders and shit, just all dressed cholo and pachuco and everything like that. They're all over here. They don't give a fuck about anybody else. They don't give a fuck who doesn't like it or who likes it or whatever, man. Before they see us sitting all out there on the outside, just looking at everybody gravitating to this onda. But it don't make us no difference. If the white people are okay with it, cool. Oh man, that's all right, man. That's cool. That's live. Whether they like it or not. Whether like, man, listen to these motherfuckers. Man, take that shit somewhere. Go back to Mexico.
That's the point. That's the point. That's the point. Like, we created this space, if you will, because of that. Literally, because of that. But go ahead, man. Finish off.
No, you're absolutely right. We created with that identity, with that anti-assimilation. That's what people need to understand. Look up the Chicano movement. It was a civil rights movement. It was a political movement. It was an educational movement to educate our people. It was us trying, from being down here, trying to rise up. But it was an anti-assimilation movement. It was putting ourselves away from that identity, not trying to blend in, not trying to get in where we fit in. Like you said, we created this space. And now all of a sudden we're going to let all these other folks into that space. The same people who didn't want us in their space, now we're going to allow them in ours.
Bingo.
The exact same people that didn't want us in their space, now we're going to pull them in and let them in our space. A space that we created because they wouldn't allow us in their space. No, man.
Yeah. Bingo.
Nah, I don't know,
there
man.
You go.
Nah, don't get. You see, you got me. It's cold out here. I skipped work and everything. I'm in here and I'm like, man. I tuned in. I listen. I'm like, ooh, you get me heated up. I can go outside right now without no jacket, man. I'm so hot. This is something I'm passionate about, man. You know what I mean?
Same.
Something I'm very passionate about.
And I know you are. I know you are. That's why I specifically said Wayward. Come on, because I knew. I was like, after all that bullshit, y'all, let me bring the non-bullshit. So yeah.
No, I appreciate you giving me up, man. But I'm gonna get back. down. I'm still listening to you, man. But now I'm I got you. Anytime, man.
Hey, listen. If you have the time, stick around. I'm gonna bring one of your other buddies up here and ask them some same questions. And I want people to observe and witness the difference between asking white tea presenting Chicanos these questions and then indigenous presenting Chicanos, and whole different answers. But yeah, go ahead. Stick around if you can, man. Stick around. Andale. I'll bring another individual, y'all, and watch. Same questions, but just indigenous presenting people, and pay attention to the answers. Edward, if you're here, send a request. Check this out, y'all. Check this out. Pay attention. I mean, this is the difference. When you ask white tea presenting so-called Chicanos, so-called indigenous people, and you get that flip-flop response, now let's ask indigenous presenting people, okay? The same questions, and let's see what they say and how they go about it, okay? Let me ask you a question, sir. You're muted, by the way. Still muted. Let me see if I could unmute you myself. Give me a second. Hold on, stay right there. Let me see if I could unmute you. No, you're muted. I don't know why. I don't know why you're muted. Yeah, come down and come back up. Yeah, let me see if I could we could fix that. He was muted. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second. All right, let's see. Okay, you can hear me?
I can hear you now.
A simple question that doesn't require too much dancing around, okay? Are there white tea people that claim to be Chicanos?
Yes.
Okay. Why is this? I'm gonna ask you. Why is it difficult for other people to answer this question so simply? Why is it difficult?
I would say the ignorance.
Do you notice that a lot of these people either identify with white tea and or are white tea presenting that have a difficult time answering this question, but indigenous presenting people literally never have this trouble answering?
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Any input on what you saw in this life? Go ahead. I'll give you the.
Uh, I will say is remember when I told you that there are Chicanos on this app that are pushing for federal recognition?
Mhm.
That's the same person.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. We'll leave that for another conversation privately. Okay. But thank you, Edward. Thank you. All right. See. Now with him telling me that, I am so glad for today's live stream because ignorant people have to be exposed. Ignorant people have to be exposed.